What legacy are you creating? Not only for yourself, but for whatever your future looks like, whatever resonates with you most, whether it's having some kind of family or just creating ripples for the collective. You are a powerful magician, and we are going to be getting into some categories today about this, surrounding this. So, the first thing I want you to think about is your values. How do you embody your values every day? And how do you go out into the world, interact with your environment, interact with your household, engage with your self care, things like that? Are you the person that you want to be? Do these values reflect who you want to be and what really matters to you? I would like you to think about that. I invite you to think about that. And then the next thing I want to talk about is ways of living. This is a really big deal for me too, because this is the thing where don't do what you don't want to do, and like don't create and perpetuate what you don't want, basically. And a really fine example of this is, and I'm calling myself out here, if you want to live a life of ease and flow, don't rush around. Don't get yourself like into like a stressed out sort of like sympathetic nervous system runs your day, and you're acting as if there aren't enough hours in the day. Don't do that. Soften when the urgency gets more intense. And I know that we tend to want to do the opposite. We tend to want to go faster. We tend to want to like make ourselves feel better against that feeling. I used to be I mean, I've come a long way. Maybe I'll make a whole separate video about my story, but I used to be very hyper masculine as someone who's in a feminine incarnate form, but also with some of the mental health stuff. It was just very intense the way that I would approach my day and run through lists in my head and make sure I was like on top of it constantly. But that's also a symptom of the current society that we live in. It's not very supportive of different cycles. And so, it runs off of the 24-hour cycle, and not everybody is aligned or attuned to that. So, on the other hand, if you are somebody who is like, you feel like nothing's happening in your life, or you feel like, oh my gosh, I just can't get out of bed, or whatever that looks like for you, try to stop hitting the snooze, chip away at what you've been wanting to get to, but you haven't had the energy for, and just have it be one little thing every day. Maybe it's, getting up 15 minutes earlier and doing a stretch routine, or maybe it's, this is helpful for me. For some reason, if I have to get up early sometime for like something that I have, I'm like happy because then I'm up so early and I'm awake and I can like have more time to like do stuff. We always have time, to my previous point, but I'm just saying, physical world sense, like if you wake up earlier and you go to bed later, you'll have more hours in the day to do stuff. So what helps me is waking up and going for a walk immediately. Then you get your body moving, you get your face out in the sun, which is like a circadian rhythm like indicator in your body that like it is time to be awake, and then you'll, with the blood flow paired with the sunlight, you'll wake up. And so making that a habit maybe, and it's like pretty effortless, I would say, once you kind of like, I used to do this a couple of years ago, like, and maybe for the sake of your nervous system, I don't recommend this to everyone, okay? Take this with a grain of salt. But I would hear my alarm, I would take a deep breath, and then I would just like launch myself out of bed, just so I didn't have, like, I didn't succumb to that want to like, just like roll back over and go to sleep. To get yourself moving, go outside, the fresh air, like I said, in the sun, and just walking, getting your body moving in some way. going for a walk, whatever that looks like for you, moving your body, whatever that looks like for you. So yeah, that's a recommendation I have. It's basically discovering how you want to feel and what you want your life to look like, and implementing physical things that reflect that, and to have that become a part of your identity. Basically, it's like if you want to start drinking green smoothies in the morning, buy the ingredients, have them in the freezer or whatever, or if you want to do fresh, have them in the fridge, and do it. Just do it. Just do it. Like that one video. Have it there. Set yourself up for success in that way. If you want the green smoothies, buy the ingredients. If you want to wake up earlier, then set your alarm earlier and go to bed maybe earlier the previous night so that you feel rested. Things like that. So the next thing I want to get into is your goals and dreams. So what sorts of long-term and short-term goals do you have? Like, what does that look like? And then with dreams, what sorts of things set your soul ablaze with excitement? Maybe it's travel. For me, it's travel. Maybe you have a list of places you want to go, or maybe a list of activities you want to do. Like maybe you just really want to go hang gliding, or you really want to go scuba dive in the ocean. Like whatever that looks like for you. And then once you're clear on that and you feel that in your heart, evaluate the internal energies in yourself and also the external energies around you. Do these two different energies align with those goals, align with those dreams? Like, perfect example, I'm gonna say this. Maybe you want to have biological children one day, and you're currently with somebody who does not, or like they're just kind of dismissive, or they don't want to talk about it, or they don't want to like be serious or whatever. I encourage you to reflect and to see what might need to change in that situation. Maybe it's leaving the person, maybe it's having that conversation, and then maybe just all along they're like, oh, well, never got brought up. Yeah, I want kids. Like, just there needs to be some kind of communication, some kind of like thing that happens to to shift that stagnation. Another example, like maybe you are really passionate. Oh my gosh, I'm going to tell you a story. So I became ordained just the other day. I am now officially a pagan priestess. And I remember a couple of years ago, I sat down with some old family friends of mine, very close with my parents. And this was a couple years ago, but I had started my spiritual journey and I was really trying to decide and determine what I wanted my career and my life to look like. And so they were asking me about updates on my life and things like that. And I was very candid and reflective, like, oh yeah, I told them some stuff, but then at the end I was like, or maybe I'll be a philosophy professor. Like, I've had some really amazing world religions and philosophy professors in my life, and I was still going to school at that time. So I was like really reflective, and I kid you not, you guys, this was very unfortunate. These two people like looked at each other and laughed at me. Like they actually laughed in my face, and that did not feel good in the moment. And so fast forward to now, I'm surrounded by all kinds of different people, like who identify differently, and just like this beautiful diverse group who encourage me and who I talk to them and they're excited and they're like, wow, Olivia, like you are speaking so confidently. I know you can do this. Like they literally with it, I'm not on track to be a philosophy professor anymore, but like I said, I have my ordainment. I am very passionate about world religions. I believe in everything and anything, and that it all exists all at once, and it's all real. So that shift was really, really cool just to recognize. And these could be people who are in your inner circle, or maybe more so your outer circle, but whatever that looks like for you. I mean, who are you engaging with regularly? Who are you really putting a lot of energy into? Are they giving you life affirming energy back? Are they supportive of your goals, or are they just saying, like, putting you down and saying it's stupid, or like literally laughing in your face? That's crazy. So, and then, so I was talking about the external energies, internal energies now. Do your habits and your beliefs support your goals and dreams? Do you believe in yourself? Are you seeing the steps that it would take to get there? And are you applying yourself, whatever that looks like for you, consistently to get there? These two things, internal and external energies, should be in alignment to help you achieve these goals and dreams. So the next thing I'm going to talk about here is owning your story. Own your story while simultaneously not letting the bad stuff define you. Ever since shifting this, and this is getting a little spiritual here too, whatever you might believe in, but ever since making that shift, I feel like I've been given a whole new body. And I know, like, technically, scientifically, our cells replace themselves entirely, what is it, every 20 years or something like that? But things happen between age 20 and now. I'm 26. And I, ever since last year, felt like, and actually with shadow work and with, mental health, counseling, and just the different ways that I cope and process what I've been through, even the more recent stuff, every time something big happens and I come out on the other side of it, I feel like I'm regenerated. I feel like I am totally renewed. I am new, a new body, a new person. Like, there are no remnants of like clinging energies or residues or whatever from like those previous events. So explore that. Get really curious about what is weighing you down about your story and how you can liberate yourself. Because again, I'm going to write a book one day, okay, but it's going to take a while. So in the meantime, I might make some videos about my story. Let me know if you'd like that in the comments, because I mean, I've been through hell and back 10 times, tenfold, in different ways. So maybe it could be inspiring or helpful to some of you, and I would very much like to be a part of your healing process. If something like that would help you, please let me know, because I will like tell you everything. I've said in previous videos that like I'm very much an open book for the sake of healing and collective awareness and like people feeling less alone. So like feel free to literally email me anytime or like ask me anything in the comments. Yes. So my final point here is that your passion is your compass. Your passion is your compass. It is what tells you what you should be doing, as far as like, again, kind of more spiritual here, purpose and what lights you up. The world needs more love and ease and unity. And I think we all know that, no matter what your background is, like no matter what your beliefs may be, I think we can all agree that we need more love and unity here. And so when you follow your passion, you create this space around you that just gets bigger and bigger and bigger of light energy rather than like dense and heavy energy. And it benefits every part of you, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And so to me, when all of those things are in harmony, it secures, excuse me, it secures the optimal health and wellness for you, but also true sustainable wealth. Because what's money if we're not even able to enjoy it? What's money if we like hate the process of earning it, of getting it, whatever? You might be in a job that you hate, or you're treated with disrespect every single day. Like, I've had it before where I loved my job, but the people around me and the managers were terrible, so I ended up leaving. So whatever that looks like for you, reflect on where your passion lies and what makes you feel expansive versus contracted. That's something that my Taoist mentor talks about a lot, is whatever we may be facing externally or internally, does it give you a contractive feeling or an expansive feeling? When it's expansive, that is capital R reality. When it is contractive, that is some kind of illusion, some kind of fear-based thing that's trying to take over our body and make us like maybe think things or do things that aren't in integrity or just do not reflect what's actually happening. Because our perception is very much a lens, and our feelings are indicators of what our internal state is reacting to what's outside of us, but it's not necessarily an accurate reflection of what is outside of us. Does that make sense? So I'm pretty sure that's all I wanted to talk about today. So again, whatever that looks like for you, legacy, I mean your life. What are you leaving behind? There's two parts to this. What are you leaving behind is like your life and yourself. But then what are you bringing forward into the future? And again, maybe that is through biological or adopted children in your family, or it's how you go out into the world. Every person you talk to, there is some, like, there is, and this is, I'm pretty sure this is scientifically backed too in some physics or whatever, that there is always energy exchange, whatever you interact with, like, especially people, like, there's active exchange, even if it's a stranger in passing. Like, everywhere from a stranger in passing to like a deeply intimate, like, relationship and conversation and everything in between, there's some kind of exchange. So you can literally change the world by aligning everything to what you truly feel and what and how you want to be. And so I hope these categories kind of help you reflect and refine that for yourself, for ultimate authenticity and love and warmth and just all the goodness. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I have a lot of goodies down in the description, so take a look. All right, bye.